Hello, my tech friends. How are you doing today? Today we talk about an initial public offering, best known as a IPO. Yes, darlings. Yes, darlings. We have made it this far in the series. We have gone through an ICO, an STO, an IEO, and we reached the pinnacle for most people, which is the initial public offering. I will, at the beginning of next year, start speaking to you all about an IRO, but for now, top secret classified. Shh. We won't go any further. But let's talk about an IPO because we've still got time. We've still got things to discuss here until then. An initial public offering is one of the methods that companies can use to go public, which will make it stocks available to retail traders and investors. The company will decide how many shares it wants to offer, and an investment bank will suggest an initial price for the shares based on the predicted demand for them. It should be noted that trading or investing in IPO shares can be riskier than getting exposure to established stocks due to the unpredictability of the new listing, right? You should know this already, guys. If you're listening to an IPO piece of content, then you're going to know you've been playing around in some arena. It's never a safe and predictable arena to play in. It's stocks. I mean, come on. It's dangerous, isn't it? But why do companies go public? Companies want to go public for different reasons, depending on their circumstances. Most are looking to raise capital to fund expansion, pay debts, attract and retain talent, or monetize assets, right? A company monopolizing, I mean, it's a standardized protocol for anyone who really wants to get somewhere in this arena and wants their money to speak for itself on a much grander level, right? A company may also want to list on a stock exchange to improve its public profile, right? So we're talking about Meta, BMW, Ford, Unilever, large corporations on the stock exchange, right? It's very, very public, well-funded corporations with the capital to do so, right? The IPO process starts when a company decides that it wants to sell its shares to the public via a stock exchange. First, an audit must be conducted which considers all aspects of a company's financials. If everything is in order, the business then has to prepare a registration statement to file with the appropriate exchange commission, like the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, in the US, or the Financial Conduct Authority, FCA, in the UK, right? Next, the stock exchange that the company wants to list on will review the application, after which it is either accepted or rejected, sometimes subject to certain amendments or rejected. And if approved, the company will enlist the help of an underwriter to help it decide how many shares to issue and at which price. Now, the underwriter is usually a bank, and it's their job to start a book building process, looking for investors we're talking about institutional borrowers over here a little bit more here, mark makers and stuff like that, right? Investors to subscribe to the IPO. Who's coming on board here? And interested parties will receive a prospectus of information about the shares. This is quite similar to an STO, right? Because the STO is really going, right, we need a prospectus here. We need to see what you're offering. We need to understand that you're conforming and holding steady on those legislation and those regulations from a SEC or FCA, right? But IPO is even bigger than that because that's the most public domain ever. And that's everything. That's stocks, bonds, commodities, the whole shebang, cryptocurrency also merging with that now in current times. Gold all over the place there as well, where they'll be listed and the potential opening price will be there. The IPO will be the first chance for non-private investors to buy the company's shares in what is known as the primary market, a transaction between the original holder, the company, and an investor, right? So previously there has been restrictions on IPO, right? That means only institutional investors, that's what I was attempting to say earlier, can participate fully in this primary market, while retail investors could only participate in the secondary market, right? So we've got institutional investors at the first hand of this. And then we move on to the secondary market where it's kind of opened and everyone else can participate when shares are exchanged between investors. However, you can now invest at the same time and price as institutional investors, thanks to partnerships like Primary Bid. Okay, that's kind of news to me as well, because from my understanding and my kind of awareness, the main protocol for all of this stuff has long been what I will literally just... I was going to cross-reference this for you guys, but I don't think... Okay, so portion of portfolio stocks, market makers... I don't want to start losing you all now if I start talking about exchange traded fund and traditional mutual funds, so I'll hold off on that. But if you are at that level where you would like to hear my perspective on traditional mutual funds, on exchange traded funds, so ETFs, then do let me know and we will go in there a little bit more and we can talk about an ETF investor. We can really talk about sales shares, those shares that are bought by market makers who then turn those sales into okay, yeah, I don't want to go too far into the conundrum of the conversation, but I think we've touched on the main points, guys. Just running through the screen, we don't really want to address the authorized participants, the creation unit holders, do we? Or do we not? You guys let me know, okay? It's early days over here for HERTECH. We don't want to go too far in if we don't need to. Oh dear, I make myself laugh. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going to leave you there on my squeaky chair that needs some oil. And I hope that you understand that an initial public offering is everything you know about the stock market and all of these large-scale corporations that are on the public stock exchange, which is very different to a crypto exchange like Binance, because let's say eToro is a lovely example of a IPO. So go and look at eToro, download it, engage with it, understand every single thing on that that's offered publicly there is an IPO, and it refers to markets across the whole world, right? Opening and closing times across the world. I mean, I love eToro, I'm not going to lie. I mean, as I move into the crypto space a lot more, I can't deny how much eToro just really is fun. And I'm going to leave it there because I'm getting sidetracked. But if you found resonance in that, hit the like, hit subscribe, tell me what more you want to know about. And I'm going to come back, talk stocks, bonds, commodities, what I'm investing in, what I'm not investing in, what you should know about, really, basically, right? Bearing in mind that I am fully aware that SEC are pushing all this legislation on the likes of Mayweather and Kim Kardashian, and they've made it clear that it is a crime and a real issue to advertise or speak about any securities whilst from an underhanded nature. And I would like to make it absolutely abundantly clear, HERTECH do know rules and regulations. The hermetologist is very much clued up and clear on the law and legislation, and freedom of speech is a real thing, even if I'm not in the US, and I have every right to pour my heart out about securities, finance, crypto that I like and enjoy and see potential for in the future, especially as an economist, especially as a forecaster, and especially as a corporation that is trying to make the blockchain a lot more grounded offline as much as online, and create a healthy public ledger through conversation also, not just through the digital noughts and ones, through the IPO and the IEO and the STO and the ICO, which is all coming. But I should be able to use my voice and openly speak about what I do and don't like about the market at this time, and forecast and generally debate the financial market without fear of breaching any legislation, for I am not being paid to do anything. of a underhanded nature. I am not Kim K. Dripping in jewels, advertising currency that she knows nothing about for a bit of bread. And Mayweather's already rich, so I don't know why he decided to scream coin in an ad. But that, once again, there's so much discrepancy in the law and what isn't okay. And to be honest, even me coming into this arena going, oh my God, the market's up today. Oh my God, the market's down. Oh my God, I foresee in the next 6 months crypto's crashing down. And I felt like I was breaking the law for that. I was so riddled with guilt, and I felt like I was hurting other people's feelings by just owning the fact that I could foresee the market going. And actually, we need much healthier conversations around money, and provided your conversation is legitimate and you are speaking from a place of, I mean, it doesn't even care. It doesn't even need to be ordained or positive. It's a simple conversation. If you've got something to say and you want to talk about the market, then that should be allowed. And it really is that simple in today's society. We're allowed to speak about money. We really are. And whether it's digital or not, no one's going to hide in a corner and go, oh my gosh. I mean, advertisement, promotion. I mean, do we promote stocks? And stuff like, I mean, it's silly. We're going to have to get into it in a real authentic debate. So pause on that. Because there's such an important conversation that needs to be had about what we can and can't say when it comes to cryptocurrency, what we can and can't say about stocks and bonds. Everyone hides in the corners, don't want to tell anyone else what they're investing in. No, keep it to myself. No, we don't need to know your net worth. We don't need to know your bank balance. We don't need to know the ins and outs of your personal investments, especially if you don't want to share. But I mean, if we're in a position in today's society where we're already way back when we already paved the way for public ledgers and peer-to-peer networks, then I mean, why wouldn't we actualize that in human form, where human to human can have an authentic, real engagement about the position of their currency, high or low, up or down. And there are differences between hybrids do exist, hybrid consortium. Okay, not too much, but I don't want to say too much. I nearly fucked up. But there are a lot of stuff between private and public ledgers, and a hybrid between the two. And I'm stopping now because I'm in dangerous territory. I love you all. I'll be back soon with more. Hit like and subscribe.